Since the very invention of the gun itself, filmmakers, mafiosos, and other fools have been telling us never bring a knife to a gunfight. But Darkest Dungeon's Highwayman begs the question,
¿Por qué no los dos?
if you think you're ready to wield the incredible power that is holding a knife in one hand and a gun in the other, then watch on. But if you're not prepared, you're gonna have a bad time. First among the Highwayman's abilities, we have Wicked Slice. This, of course, is the move that you bring to your gunfights. It's just a bread and butter melee attack, except instead of using a knife to spread butter on bread, you are using a knife to spread internal organs all across the floor. Very simple, very straightforward, gets the job done. Its counterpoint is actually the Highwayman's 7th ability, Open Vein. Now, if you heard the Wicked Slice description and found yourself thinking, yeah, that's cool, but I like to have the target suffer a little longer before they die. I want to watch them bleed out. Well, the Highwayman has an ability for that. You sadist. You only want to bring one of these two. You either bring Open Vein or Wicked Slice. You don't want to bring both. The trade-off is Open Vein has weaker upfront damage, but it will do more damage over time with the bleed, which makes it better against bosses and enemies with significant protection. But of course, it's not as useful in the Cove and the Ruins because enemies there do not bleed. Open Vein also has higher accuracy, which is important. It's a lot more accuracy actually, 10 more. And there's also a situational speed debuff slapped on there. I don't really take it into consideration when I'm choosing which one to equip, but it does come up every once in a while. Okay, next up we have Pistol Shot. Naturally, this is the ability you want to bring to your knife fights. Just a simple, straightforward, ranged damage ability. It does have a little bonus damage against marked targets, more than a little actually. It does a lot more damage against marked targets. But marks aren't really abilities you want to be using unless your whole party is built around them. And even then they're really only useful in, again, boss fights, because in the average combat, enemies are going to die in 1 or 2 hits anyways, whether or not you're getting that sweet 50% bonus damage. Point Blank Shot is the Highwayman's 3rd skill and another reason to never use the Leper, because you have pretty much everything the Leper does all right here in one skill. They both have less range than a Bluetooth headset with a dead battery, and cause more damage than a political comment at Family Thanksgiving. So why would you bother to bring the Leper when you can do all the Leper things but also have 3 other good skills? Ability number 4, Grapeshot Blast. Grapeshot Blast is an AoE. AoEs in this game are bad. Do not use AoEs. Do not use Grapeshot Blast. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Skill number 5, Tracking Shot. Tracking Shot is a buff. Buffs in Darkest Dungeons are bad. Do not use the skill. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Or is it? While I stand by the assertion that buffs are bad in this game, Tracking Shot is probably the best buff in the game, and that makes it actually viable. For 3 main reasons. The first is it deals damage, which means it can finish off a almost dead enemy. 2, it strips stealth, which is a useful skill to have in your team regardless of how much damage the skill does. And lastly, it's just a really good buff. Compared to anything like the Leper has, for example, the accuracy, damage, and crit chance that this gives you is just absurd. And that actually makes it worth using. The Highwayman's 6th ability is Duelist's Advance. And this skill lets you use your knife to get close enough to use your gun. This is arguably the Highwayman's best skill, and the reason is that the riposte mechanic is just absolutely broken overpowered. So riposte is the only skill in the game, or the only buff in the game, that allows you to take multiple attacks in the same round. And that unique ability makes Duelist's Advance, the best riposte skill, extremely valuable. It's the main reason you want to bring the Highwaymen to any situation. Okay, let's talk camping. In addition to some solid, if linear, combat skills, the Highwayman also has some very solid camping skills. Where he is very one-dimensional in combat, he makes up for this by being a strong all-rounder in camping. And it's really impressive that he could be so bone-tired but still working hard. He's really not a lazy bones. Do you get it? It's a skeleton joke. I'm just trying to be humorous. Speaking of humorous, the Highwayman's first camping skill is Gallows Humor. This ability is a gamble, and we don't like those in Darkest Dungeon. We don't like to take chances. In the worst case scenario, the party's stress total will increase by 5, but the best case scenario is stress drops by 85. The Highwayman always gets the minus stress because nothing gets under his skin, if you know what I'm saying. It is more efficient on average than Encourage. On average, you're going to get minus 40 stress. 2 Encourages is minus 30. But it's just really hard to take that chance of just wasting 4 respite points. A lot of the time, you're going to be wanting to use a different class to reduce stress across the party. But if this is your only option, it's not an awful one. Next up, there is Unparalleled Finesse. This skill is incredible. You could say it is unparalleled, even. The main reason for this is that your melee skills are the ones you're going to be using most of the time. So buffing your melee skills by all of these amazing stats is superb. The speed is awesome. It can be really nice to get riposte up before any of the enemies act, which maximizes your chance of getting your ripostes off. The dodge exists. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I mean, even if it was completely removed from the skill, it would still be fantastic, so I'm certainly not complaining. The opposite of Unparalleled Finesse is Clean Guns. This is Unparalleled Finesse, but bad. Paralleled Finesse, if you will. Parallel to a dumpster fire, specifically, because this ability is trash. I hate this ability. Like I was just saying, you're going to be using melee skills a lot more than ranged skills, so you're not going to be seeing the buffs from this ability nearly as often, and then it also gives you 6 crit. We all know how I feel about crit. I would much rather have 2 more speed and 10 more dodge than 6 crit. Just don't use it, don't bring it, it's bad. Waste of respite points. Okay, lastly for camping skills we have Bandit's Sense. Bandit's Sense prevents nighttime ambush, which means you will be using it about as often as the tissues and lotion on your nightstand, multiple times per day. The other benefit is also very nice. You should hopefully be scouting fights, so chances of your party being surprised is negligible, but it is very useful to surprise enemies. Again, getting riposte up before any of them get the chance to act is always very nice. Alright, let's talk trinkets. The Highwayman is a pure damage dealer. That is all he does. So all you want to be bringing for trinkets are accuracy and damage. Speed is also nice, but your number 1 priority is accuracy and damage. Because of this, his trinket choices are boring and straightforward because every hero wants accuracy and sometimes damage. So let's talk about some things you don't want to bring. You don't want to bring dodge. The visual appearance of the Highwayman makes him look like he's kind of squishy, wants to dodge around a lot of the time, but his HP pool is actually quite average. Obviously, if you're running a dodge skew composition with antiquarians and whatnot, then you'll want it, but in most situations, dodge is not worthwhile. You will be much better suited by trinkets that will help you kill the enemies than trinkets that will protect you from them. Negative speed is negative. It's a negative. It's negative to have it. The Highwayman has a couple trinkets that provide debuffs to your speed, and while their other stat increases can be tempting, I would recommend that you shy away from them because you really want your damage dealers to be going earlier in the turn order. I did say that speed buffing trinkets are a secondary priority, but that doesn't mean that you want to be going negative into speed. You should at least be staying at the Highwayman's base speed stat. Dodgy Sheath is bad for all these reasons. It might look good on paper, but it just does not do any of the things the Highwayman wants to do. The interesting thing about the Highwayman is he enables a unusual strategy that I call crit skew, where basically instead of crits being this rare thing that happens from time to time and it's exciting, you can actually count on getting crits with some regularity, which naturally is really nice for your damage numbers and also your stress levels. The reasons for this are: one, the Highwayman has high base crit chance. Second, he has 2 crit increasing abilities. Cracking Shot increases his own crit chance, and Grapeshot Blast allows you to increase the crit chance of your whole team. So all of this together means that you can actually make crit viable, which is exciting. It's nice to use some unusual strategies. In most party compositions, you only see heroes getting to like 35% crit chance at most, whereas the crit skew team can achieve anywhere from 50 to 70%, which is just absolutely amazing. I love it. I recommend you try it out at least once just for shits and giggles. Some early game trinkets that I would find useful on the Highwayman include Warrior's Cap, Surgical Gloves, the Speed Stone, and the Reckless Charm. The late game trinkets I would run on the Highwayman are Shameful Locket, Crystalline Gunpowder, Focus Ring, Crescendo Box, and some situational inclusions depending on what skills you're bringing. Might be Bleed Amulet, the Sun and Moon Rings, Sharpening Sheath, and Ancestor's Pen. In conclusion, damage and accuracy trinkets most of the time avoid dodge, avoid negative speed, and if you have a crit focused party, then obviously you want to be running crit trinkets, but only if your party is focused on it. So in conclusion, the Highwayman is all around a pretty boring character. He's got a lot of straight damage, but not a lot of utility. He has strong positional flexibility, but poor role flexibility, meaning that he can sit anywhere in your team, but he won't be accomplishing more than one job, like, say, the Crusader. Again, riposte is very strong, very useful, and he does it better than any other character. This is not just a good skill in and of itself, but it is a viable Color of Madness strategy. One of my most successful Color of Madness teams involves 2 Highwaymen. I also touched on crit skew a little bit and how important he is to that. That's not really a super meta team, it's more just something enjoyable to do on maybe Radiant, but you know, it is good to switch things up from time to time. It feels good to not just use Gestal and whatnot on every single run. As for weaknesses, he's on the fragile side. He does have average HP and above average dodge, but his damage over time resistances are poor, and his positioning normally means that he wants to be standing somewhere that the enemies will be attacking a lot. So you do need to be careful with him, make sure your healer keeps an eye on him. But overall, I'd say he's all around a pretty strong character. He has good camping skills, he's good DPS, he has riposte, And the nice thing about all that is it's not really specific to a given region or type of fight. He does fall off a little bit in boss battles just because you'll be triggering riposte a little less, but on the whole, you can take him to the Warrens, the Ruins, Color of Madness DLC, Crimson Court DLC, and he'll perform admirably in all of them. He just doesn't really excel at doing anything other than damage, and that's okay. Sometimes you just need to kill something dead.
I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, with sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade.
For a second skill,
He wields a gun